They thought it would be easy, just a casual night out slipping into a seat they hadn't earned. But what they didn't know was that the table they stole wasn't just any table. It belonged to someone whose very presence challenged the way they saw the world. A man of immense success, wealth, and dignity, yet still treated like he didn't belong. The room went silent, the air heavy with judgment. And then, with just a few words, he revealed a truth no one expected. What could one man say that would flip power, privilege, and prejudice on its head? It was supposed to be just another night. The billionaire had come quietly, dressed sharp but unassuming, ready to enjoy an evening away from the endless meetings and decisions that usually filled his life. For years, he had built his empire brick by brick, pushing through doors that were never meant to open for him, enduring whispers and doubt at every step. To most, he was a name in headlines, a symbol of success. But here, in this glittering lounge with velvet ropes and chandeliers, he was just another man seeking a moment of peace. What he didn't know was that this simple night out would become a reminder, painful, humiliating, and unforgettable, that no amount of wealth could shield him from the prejudice waiting in the shadows. The night began with laughter and soft music, glasses clinking beneath the glow of crystal chandeliers. The billionaire chose his usual table, a corner seat reserved for those who carried both name and power. But before he could settle, a couple drifted over, confident, careless, and entitled. They slid into his space as if it had been waiting for them all along. At first, he thought it was a mistake, a misunderstanding. But then came the glances, dismissive, sharp, meant to cut. They didn't just take the table. They took the air around it, filling it with arrogance, their eyes daring him to challenge their presence. He stood quietly for a moment, weighing his response. After all, he had faced far greater battles than this, boardrooms where his voice was ignored, contracts where his signature was questioned, doors where his skin color was all anyone saw. But still, the sting was familiar. Here he was, a man worth more than the entire building, being treated as if he didn't belong in it. The crowd noticed. Some whispered, some stared, others simply watched with the kind of silent curiosity that thrives when dignity is stripped in public. The couple leaned back in their seats, ordering drinks as if the billionaire was invisible, as if erasing him from the table could erase his right to it. And in that moment, the question wasn't just about a chair or a meal. It was about respect, identity, and the unseen walls that wealth could never fully tear down. Tension thickened in the air. Every second stretched longer than the last. He could feel eyes on him, some waiting for him to walk away, others hoping he would fight back. The couple smirked, confident that their performance of ownership would go unchallenged. But deep down, they didn't know the storm they were provoking, because he wasn't just any man standing before them. He was the embodiment of resilience, a mirror of every slight and injustice carried by generations before him. And the weight of that history was pressing against his chest, demanding not silence, but a response. As the waiter approached, tray in hand, the moment hung in a fragile balance. Would the billionaire back down, letting yet another insult bury itself in the silence of the night? Or would he finally break it, shaking the room with words that could not be ignored? The laughter around the table suddenly died. Eyes shifted. Whispers rippled through the room. The couple sat smugly, their drinks resting on crystal, their posture declaring ownership. The billionaire stood silently, his presence commanding attention yet drenched in humiliation. For a moment, it wasn't his billions, his achievements, or his reputation that defined him. It was the color of his skin in a room that had already decided he didn't belong. A hush spread like wildfire. The servers froze, waiting for direction. Some guests leaned closer, entertained by the spectacle, while others looked away, uncomfortable but unwilling to intervene. It was more than just a stolen seat. It was a stolen dignity. An unspoken reminder that even at the highest levels, prejudice lurked, waiting to strike. The billionaire's chest tightened as every memory of exclusion and insult returned. Doors slammed in his face when he first started. Contracts denied because of image. Investors who doubted him before hearing a single idea. All of it condensed into this one moment. They thought he was powerless, just another man to brush aside. Then he moved forward, slow but deliberate, each step cutting through the silence. The couple's smirks faltered, unease creeping in. His voice, when it came, was steady but sharp enough to slice the air. The words were simple, but they carried the weight of a lifetime. "I own this place." Gasps echoed. Glasses trembled against tabletops. In an instant, the power flipped. The couple's smugness cracked into disbelief, the room's energy shifting like a tide. Everyone had expected silence. Instead, they got truth. A truth so undeniable it shattered the illusion of superiority. And in that moment, the world in that room was forced to confront a question they had long ignored. What happens when prejudice collides with power? The room remained frozen, the weight of his words pressing down on every corner. The couple shifted uncomfortably, their arrogance crumbling into silence. Servers who moments ago looked uncertain now straightened with quiet pride. And the billionaire? He didn't gloat. He didn't need to. The truth he spoke was more powerful than any raised voice or display of anger. But as he returned to his rightful table, the victory was bittersweet. Because beneath the gasps and the sudden respect, the sting of what had happened still lingered. It wasn't just about a chair at a VIP table. It was about centuries of chairs pulled away, doors slammed shut, and spaces where people of color were told they didn't belong. His words had reclaimed the moment, but they couldn't erase the reality that even billionaires aren't immune to the shadow of racism. That night became a mirror for everyone in the room. Some left uneasy, realizing the prejudice they had silently condoned. Others left unchanged, clinging to excuses. But no one could deny what they had witnessed. A moment where prejudice was unmasked and stripped of its false power. And for those of us watching this story now, the question lingers. How many more reminders will it take before society finally understands that worth isn't defined by skin, but by humanity? How many more humiliations, confrontations, and painful truths must be endured before dignity is no longer something to be defended, but simply respected? This isn't just one man's story, it's all of ours. And the real change begins when we choose not to look away.